Students, you are welcome again in this period of Science and Technology Part 2, and we are studying the chapter number 6, that is the animal classification. So, in this chapter we have studied earlier what are the different criteria for new system of classification, in which we studied the grades of organization was the one of the important point which we studied earlier. Then the body symmetry was the important thing or criteria for the classification of animals. Then the germ layer, whether the animal is diploblastic or the triploblastic, it was the very important criteria. Now we are going to study the next important criteria, which is called as the body cavity, or it is also called as the coelom. So the cavity between the body and the internal organ is called as body cavity or the coelom. In some of the multicellular animals, during the initial period of their embryonic development, the body cavity is formed from either mesoderm or the gut, and such type of body cavity is present in the animals of phylum Annelida and the phyla which is coming after Annelida, and such type of animal they are called as eucoelomates. What are the eucoelomates? The body, it do possess the body cavity, and that body cavity it is formed during the initial period of their embryonic development. Remember, in case of Aschelminthes, they have the body cavity, but it is not formed by above mentioned two ways, that it is not formed from either mesoderm or the gut. Therefore, those animals they are called as pseudocoelomates. Pseudo means false. So, the pseudocoelomates. You can see here the body cavity is present but not formed by above mentioned two methods. Then the third type, remember the Annelida are the eucoelomates, Aschelminthes they are the pseudocoelomates, but now the third type. Remember the body cavity it is absent in case of animals from phyla Porifera, Cnidaria and Platyhelminthes, which Porifera, Cnidaria and the Platyhelminthes. So such animals they are called as acoelomates. They are called as acoelomates. Here the Platyhelminthes is shown. So such animals they are the acoelomates. Therefore now we can conclude that depending upon the presence or absence of body cavity or the type of body cavity, now we can classify the animals into eucoelomates, pseudocoelomates and the acoelomates. In this type, this was very important criteria which must be taken in consideration during the classification of animals. So the next criteria for the classification of animals with the help of the body segmentation. So if the body of animals it is divided into small similar units, then such body is called as the segmented body, and each small unit is called as segment. For example, the animals like earthworm, which is from the phylum Annelida, it is one of the best example which is having the segmented body, and you can see here the segments which is shown in this particular diagram. So in this manner there are so many criteria which are used in a new animal classification method, and we use it while classifying the animals. Students, you can see now a chart which shows the classification of kingdom Animalia. So as we know that the kingdom Animalia, which is the multicellular organism without cell wall, they may get classified into two different types on the basis of body organization. So on the basis of cellular grade body organization and on the basis of tissue, organ or organ system body organization. So on the basis of cellular grade body organization, again we consider the asymmetrical body, that is the body symmetry. And remember, if the body organization is cellular grade, body symmetry is asymmetrical and body cavity is acoelomate, then the phylum Porifera is formed there. And when the body organization is the tissue level, tissue organ level, or organ system level, so remember, they may get classified into two different types on the basis of body symmetry, that is the radial symmetry and the bilateral symmetry. If the symmetry is radial, then and the body cavity is acoelomate, then they are included in the Cnidaria. And if the body symmetry is bilateral, then they are, if they are the acoelomate, then the Platyhelminthes. If they are the pseudocoelomate, then Aschelminthes. And if they are eucoelomate, they are classified into the Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata, those phylums. So now we can conclude that how do the Porifera, Cnidaria, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, then the Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, Chordata, those phylums are formed. So they are formed on the basis of the body organization, body symmetry, body cavity. In this way, we saw the classification of kingdom Animalia. Now we are going to study all the 10 phylums one by one. Among them, we will study the phylum Porifera first. So the Porifera is the phylum in which the animals are with the simplest body plan and are called as the sponges. So remember, they bear the numerous pores on their body, and those pores are called as ostia and the oscula. What is the name of pores? Ostia and oscula. On the basis of their function, the pores are given different name. We will see it later on. So mostly those animals are aquatic and most of them are the marine one. Few of them, they live in a freshwater, or they are the freshwater dwellers. Remember, the animals which are included in the phylum Porifera, most of them have the asymmetrical body. Those animals, they have special types of cells. The cells are called as collar cells. Remember, those animals, they are always attached to any substratum. Substratum means anything which is water. It might be a stone, it might be a wood, anything. Hence, they do not show the locomotion. Hence, they are referred as the sedentary animals. Sedentary animals are such type of animals which do not show the locomotion. Remember, their spongy body is supported by the spicules or the spongin. So, the spongin is nothing but the fiber, and the spicules are made up of calcium carbonate or the silica. Those animals, they feed upon very small organisms and they are taken in the body along with the water. Now remember, we discussed earlier, there are two types of pores in the body of the sponges. They are the ostia and the oscula. Remember, when water is taken through the pore, that pore is called as ostia. And when water is given out through the pore is called as oscula. So those animals, they reproduce by the process of asexual reproduction, which is called as budding method, and by sexual method also they can reproduce. Besides, they have good ability of regeneration. What it mean by regeneration? That it means, suppose any bird, it get cut from the body of the sponge, what will happen? It will get regenerated and it will exist as a new individual. So there are so many important examples, among them some of the Cycon, then the Euspongia. Euspongia is also called as bath sponge, then the Hylonemma, then the Euplectella, etc. So here we will stop. We will see the next phylums in the next lecture. Thank you. Thank you very much.